Okay. Well, good morning. It's class two, and it is time to get started. It's 10 o'clock, so we're gonna dive in because this is the fastest 2 hours of your entire life. All right, so it's going to happen real quick, but we're going to cover quite a bit of ground today. I started out right before the class, letting you guys know that we're going to be sharing our boards, sharing your homework um, with the class so that we can all learn from one another. And I think that's a really important part of having this good small group. The way that I want to start, though, I want to start by going around the room and sharing progress from last week to this week. I'm going to start with Bali. She called me all excited, and I want her to share her story with us. Let us know what happened and what you're working on and what's going on.
Oh, hi everybody. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Can you guys hear me?
A little
Yes.
bit. You can speak up a little bit.
I said hi everybody. I hope everybody had a great weekend.
Yeah.
Uh, with my headphones for better. Can you hear me better now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So my weekend was a little too fast, but I had put in the three bid like the assignment was, and then I focused on the rentals. And I had received one response from one of the beads, and then I was nervous because I didn't understand, and I didn't, thought it was different communication when it comes to the government, uh, new terms and everything. So I called in Serena, and I called in Lee, and then they helped me out. And then I called I called the contract agent, and then she kind of told me to what to do. And then they said that I was on in line for one of the beats I listed was three dumpster in Florida, and they were gonna make a decision by Sunday because they were, kind of going about the time frame more for the money, how much it cost. And then it's all, it was a little exciting because I got the email like Friday at 3 o'clock, and then they needed me to respond by 5 o'clock, and they were gonna make the decision by Sunday. So everything was moving super fast, and I was kind of nervous. I was everywhere at once, and I needed help. And then by Sunday, so it was exciting. Just the communication and the
Right.
engine, like it was exciting. And then Sunday, I received an email which they responded to me. Unfortunately, I didn't get it, but I loved the experience and I loved the excitement. And then the lady was pretty cool communicating with me, and so kind of kept me like, okay, so I'm gonna look for more assignments. What else she got, because she was very helpful. She kind of, they say that she was more so looking for the time frame of how when it can be delivered, more so the money. But she's gonna, but other people, her partners were more so looking at the money. So I think that she kind of got overthrown by that because the person she emailed, and this person who got the contract was way later than what I had bid, and like $700 less. It was, so.
Yeah.
So I think they kind of went so with the money. So I said, but then after that email, I went ahead and on Sam, and I searched which company that won, and I kind of realized that they knew just like me to the government world. So I hope everything goes well. But I love the experience, and it was exciting and fun. So
Awesome. Awesome. So between this week and last week, in the last 7 days, you did your board, got your three opportunities, quoted on three of them, was in the running for one of them,
yes,
not winning it, but went through the whole process of
yes,
out that they were interested, communicating
hmm,
contracting officer, finding a supplier, communicating with the supplier, all
yes.
in 7 days. That
Yes, yeah, it was pretty exciting, and I even paid for the supplier just ahead to make sure I don't lose a spot. But then when it was 24-hour cancellation, so I know I'm gonna have enough time to cancel if I don't get it.
Mhm.
So I was set up, and I had all my ducks in a row thanks to Serena and Lee, and it was amazing. I learned a lot.
See that? That's what I'm talking about. So, all right, who's next? Who wants to tell us what you've done from last week to this week? Again, this is all helpful to all of us, okay? So this is not like don't feel bad if you didn't win something in 7 days. It's really okay. So what progress have you been able to make?
everyone. So, my first bid, put the price in there wrong. But it was a learning experience because now I know how to price and learning the strategy of pricing, crunching numbers. And it was exciting, even though I didn't get it. Put the
Right.
numbers in wrong, but guess what? At least I did it, and I contacted the seller and talked with her, and she was like, "Well, if you come across anything else, just give me a call, and I'm here to help you."
So, and I'm glad you said seller. So, because this is what we're going to get right, our the language. So you contacted the supplier.
I'm sorry, the supplier. I'm sorry, the supplier.
Got it.
I'm learning, y'all. And she was like, "Well," and by the time she contacted me, it was too late, but that
Mhm.
was all right. But she was like, "If you come across anything else, if you need me, I'm here." And she gave me an extension, and we just actually talked for a minute. And she was like, "You just let me know whatever help you need. You call me, and we'll make sure. And if you need it ASAP, let me know." And I was like, "Oh yes, at least that's a contact with someone
Right.
I can call, you know?" And I'm like, yes. Even though I didn't get it,
Right.
I stepped out of my comfort zone because I was nervous, guys. And I
Yeah.
just want to be real with it. That's it.
Love it. And so, and I know that I think you've already started. You started communicating with a supplier, asking for 45 net terms and all kinds of stuff already. And so, and I think they came back. They said, "Well, we usually do 30, but let us see,
Mm.
at 45 because again, we're showing lions, tigers, and bears in here, and these are the things, these are the steps, this is what it takes in order to start building these relationships, right? So now that you've been able to get pricing successfully from someone, and this is for everybody, if you've been able to successfully develop at least a relationship with a supplier that will give you pricing that is proven that they're willing to supply to you, the other part of that is we're not just locked into unison. There's a whole big federal contracting world. And so that same relationship now can just be translated into other areas. And so that's why we're going to learn all these systems and how to leverage those types of relationships. Okay, somebody else share with me what this is what we're doing these first 30 minutes. What transpired between last week and this week? And for those that came late, I will need to see boards, so be prepared to share your screen. That was the homework last week. So, what transpired last week to this week? Anybody else have something to share?
I got myself registered with Johnson and Johnson. I didn't do any bids, but I did get myself registered.
Oh, awesome. That's good. That's really good. Really good stuff. Okay, cool. Anybody else? I don't want to cut anyone off. All right, great. So when we started last week, we went over quite a bit. I said to most of you, some of you are learning, some of you have already, done some stuff in the government space, and you understand the government, the federal marketplace really well, while some of you do not and are absolutely supporting a company that that's pursuing federal business. And so there are some things that I do want to go over that might be, lower level, the elementary stuff, the foundational stuff. We're not going to spend too much time there, but we will go over some of that. I will need to share your board, so I mean, I will call on you to share your board with us. This is again not to say this one is better than this one. This is for us to work together to build this. I think when we talked last week, we also talked about some of the qualities of a good administrative support person, right? What does a good support look like? And the word that's going to keep coming up and the word that I want to keep in front of you is initiative. You're going to have to take initiative. You're going to have to show up like that lion, tiger, bear, all those qualities. Remember what they were, and you're going to have to just kind of pounce on it. It's going to happen as you go. You're going to have to put yourself out there, and the most of your learning is going to happen through the steps that you take. So for those that pursued 3 opportunities, because some in the class just identified 3 opportunities, some identified and pursued 3 opportunities, and some did not, and that's okay. But know that your results are going to be based on what it is that that one foot in front of the other. It's gonna be based on that. So let me get started real quick with I'm going to share my screen with you guys. I'm going to go over a few things quickly. We're going to be identifying some more opportunities today. I'll walk you through some things, but let me play from this slide. Let me share my screen with you. Boom. Okay, and move this up. Okay. So, in terms of our opportunity identification, which is the main point of these 4 weeks together, right? The reselling, this is what you're doing in FedBid. Your sources sought and your forecast, we're going to use those a little bit more and a little differently than I used them in the other class, and you'll see what I mean. Hopefully by the end of this class today. Housekeeping. So I know that Lee needs to jump off shortly, but Lee, do you have anything in terms of housekeeping that you needed to go over?
Excuse me. No, I think everybody's doing really good. I just want to make sure that was everybody able to access the video from last week? And if not, just let me know. I think most folks are pretty good about texting me or posting in the Facebook group if they can't access it. Also need to make sure if anybody's not in the Facebook group that they text me, and I'll put my number in the chat, because again, that's where the magic happens. A lot of stuff goes on in the Facebook group, so you want to make sure you're in. We do have a lot of people in there, so we could have covered everybody, but I just want to make sure.
Okay. Awesome. And then the surveys. So the post-class survey, please make sure that you're getting those and that you're filling those in, because that's really what helps us to continue to do what we do and to fine tune what we do. Okay.
We're in the Facebook group as well.
Yep. Cool. Cool. All right. Announcements. I got to make this announcement, y'all, because Serena has a national holiday. There's a national holiday coming up. It's usually pre-printed in most calendars, but unfortunately this year they left it out. It's supposed to say Serena Thomas's birthday on June 24th on your calendar. It wasn't pre-printed this year. Could be because of COVID. I do not know, but we'll make sure next year it's pre-printed in your calendar. It's kind of up there with like President's Day and Labor Day. It should be there, but you can mark your calendar June 24th. We are releasing the Kindle version of a book that I released last year. The reason why I'm telling you this, because it has nothing to do with federal contracting except for the mindset piece. This whole water walker concept, it's a mindset. It is being able to embrace uncertainty, step out, do the seemingly impossible. The entire book is about living bold, believing big, and taking action. It is just like me. It is short, dynamic, and to the point. I promise you, you can finish it in one day. Anything for me over 100 pages. If I don't get the audio book, I need to see the movie. So this book is under 100 pages. Do you understand what I'm saying? It is meant for you to get it and finish it. And so I would love to invite you to pre-order your Kindle version of my book, and it's going to miraculously appear in your Kindle app on my birthday, June 24th. That's what's going to happen. It is an interactive book, so there are some videos in there. I shot a couple things just right here in my home office, just being Serena. And so there are videos in there. There are podcast episodes. It's interactive. There's a workbook in the book. It's good stuff. So recommend it to a friend. Definitely download it yourself, and I'd appreciate that. That's the announcement that I have right now. The other thing is, let me see, today is what, today's the 16th.
16.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. So we have like 3 Tuesdays before I have something else I'm going to invite you guys to. All right, so let's just do this real quick. And then I'm going to call on a few of you to see your boards, and we're going to be using that as our launching pad for what we'll do today in small groups and individually. Okay, so FedBid is where I have you. I keep referring to it as FedBid because that's what it's been forever. Unison Global is what I'm talking about, right? Fedbid.com. So last week we talked about redefining federal contracting for some of you, understanding it, kind of demystifying it a little bit. Some of you now have some experience, so that's great. But I want you to be aware of a couple things, specifically in FedBid. FedBid or Unison Global is a system that is used primarily, yes, by the federal agencies, but it is also used by private companies and local government agencies. And so I'll show you what I mean when I share my screen. But in FedBid, you want to make sure that you can see that you want to make sure you know who you're supplying to, because every once in a while you'll see something like ABC company or whatever. Matter of fact, it's probably easier that I not talk to it. Let me just show you real quick. I'll stop sharing this and I'll just go here. I'll show you what I mean, because this is really important that you know, because I don't want you to get kind of caught off guard. So right here where it says, let's just go all opportunities. So here where it says buyer, in some of these, like Department of State, that's fine. National Guard, MICC, end user, that's always going to be federal agency. It's like the military interior command center or something like that is what that stands for. But I saw one or two this particular week, and I wanted to make sure that you are, that you're paying attention to who you're supplying to. For the most part, you're going to see MICC, and I don't see one here right this second. But even when it says, let's say, like one of the embassies, so like the U.S. Embassy for Nairobi, Kenya, even for these, oftentimes whatever is being delivered, and in this case, it might actually be outside of the continent of the United States. But for the most part, the supplies, it'll tell you exactly where it's actually being shipped to. So don't be deterred by things that say, Nairobi, Canada, Nairobi, Africa, or anywhere else for that matter to the embassy, because typically your shipping is in state and then they're going to make sure that it gets to the embassy. If they're not, or if it is different where you literally have to deliver it to Afghanistan, which I've actually done. I had a whiteboard paint. It was whiteboard paint that the government needed, and it was to the embassy in Kabul, Afghanistan. And so I had to actually get it to Kabul directly, and that was interesting and actually a lot of fun. But make sure you're looking to see where it's being shipped to. That's going to be extremely important. But more importantly, I don't want you to be thrown off by the buyer in this, in any of these cases. Okay. If it is a private company, it doesn't mean that you can't supply to them. It just means that it's gonna work a little bit different. So some of the things that I'm telling you to ask for, or wide area workflow, how you get paid, things you ask a contracting officer may vary if it is not a federal agency. Okay, so just pay attention to that. That's pretty much the point of me saying that. Also, the other thing is viewing all opportunities, the help desk. So the help desk for FedBid is really, really, really good. If you are having any difficulties, if you are having questions about something, if there are discrepancies in what you're being asked to supply. For example, we had a fuel opportunity that we were pursuing, and in the solicitation itself, it said that they needed 2,000 gallons, but in the actual bid screen, it had 3,000. And so one said 2,000, one said 3,000. Of course, we got a price for the higher number, but what ended up happening is, because it wasn't correct and they didn't answer the questions on time, they ended up reposting it. So we lost it and they reposted it, and we actually didn't win it again on the second go round. But those kinds of things happen. If you're ever having issues, though, the help desk on there is a good ally to have. So make sure you're leaning on them. For those of you that have not bid in FedBid yet, do understand that FedBid is not, it's not free, but you're also not charged until you actually win something. So it's technically free, right? But what'll happen is when you put your pricing in, you'll see that FedBid adds their own price, their own fee to your bid, which does raise your bid to the end to the buyer. It does raise your bid to the buyer because it needs to include their fee. So be conscious of all of that, and we'll go through the screens. But just for those of you that are actively out there and bidding, I want you to make sure that you're aware of those few things. The other thing that I want you to know, the government's fiscal year, and many of you already know this, it begins October 30th and ends September 30th. So what that means is their year is coming to an end. Their year does not end in December. It ends in September. And that means their budget money allocated for the fiscal year needs to be spent, right? Not every single agency had to spend a ton for COVID-19. Some agencies actually did not get a chance to spend some money because of COVID-19. So what I'm anticipating are a tremendous amount of new opportunities between July and August, like it usually is. For those of us that have been doing this a while, we call it Christmas in July. And so it's going to be really, really important that you start definitely building these supplier relationships, working with your companies, whoever it is that you report to, having a good strategy, determining what you want to pursue, and go hard July, August, because there will be quite a bit. You should see a good uptick, especially in FedBid. You should see a good uptick in opportunities between now and September. Okay. COVID-19 updates. Couple things. I'm not going to get into the FAR too much in this class, but for those of you that don't know, the FAR just stands for the Federal Acquisition Regulation. You have a link directly to the FAR site. That's acquisition.gov. It's on that boot camp links page, which we'll spend some time in. But the Federal Acquisition Regulation is the Bible, right, for the contracting officers, tells them what to do, how to do it, whatever. There have been a lot of leniency granted due to COVID-19 and what's been happening. I there's FAR Part 18 is has a lot in there about the micro purchases and things like this, and some of the things that the contracting officers can do. I'm going to say for what you're doing in Fed bid right now, it, it's not going to be impacted too much by FAR Part 18, but 18 and 13 are two FAR parts that you really want to be familiar with, because it just helps you to better articulate what it is that you can ask a contracting officer for. We can't dive too far in there in the 4 weeks, but as things come up, as you're requesting or being requested, as you are getting requests for certain things, there may be opportunities for you to refer back to the FAR to defend a position or to even take a position. For example, what Bali shared regarding them making a decision. Well, they contacted her on Friday, and they decided that they're gonna not go with lowest price acceptable. They're gonna go with who can get it delivered the fastest, right? And so they're talking now to a bunch of different contractors, and they're making a decision on the fly. There are times that allow them to do that, and there are far part clauses that allow them to make that decision. So they can say, okay, we're going to make a decision Sunday if you can get it to us by Tuesday, or we'll go with you even though you're not the lowest acceptable. Because it would be against normal practice to go against lowest acceptable. If you're lowest acceptable, that should be it. Case closed, conversation over. But if they change that and say, now, nope, delivery, that's what we're going with. They have those leniencies because of FAR clauses, not necessarily Part 18, but because of the FAR clauses. Okay, just wanted to bring that up. There are like changes and updates to affirmative action and the women-owned set-asides that are happening. The only reason why I put that there is because if you are going to be a person that supports the company's federal contracting efforts, you're going to have to take the initiative and keep yourself connected to what's going on in the federal marketplace. You're gonna have to do that. And that means, I mean, if that means forums and blogs and podcasts or whatever, you want to keep yourself connected to what's going on so that you can be proactive in bringing things to your company, to who report to or whatever. That can help. Right, that can help with their federal contracting efforts. And so affirmative action changes, they made some during COVID-19, and they're I think they're still on the books right now, which was they were doing away with on emergency buys. It doesn't matter if you're a small business, woman-owned, minority-owned, none of that matters right now. Nobody's trying to reach a goal. We just need to get the stuff we need to get. And so there was a whole executive order about that, meaning your certifications mean nothing on certain opportunities because we're just going to go with it's an emergency and ain't nobody got time for that. That's what the government said in Serena layman terms, right? And so those kinds of things can happen. Now, obviously, we don't want that to be a long-term thing because we want to capitalize on being a small business, on being a minority-owned business, on being a woman-owned business. The great thing about what I teach and what I'm teaching you guys is for micro purchases and simplified acquisitions. The truth is the larger companies don't really care to pursue these low hanging fruit opportunities. They want the big opportunities. They want the multi-year. So even though they're making these kinds of changes, you're not going to compete with a big company for $5,000, like, because they don't even have the time. It would actually be too expensive for them to go low. Because of the types of businesses we're talking about. So with the updates that are happening to the FAR or in contracting, I still want you to keep in mind that we play at a certain level because we can accomplish the same goal, right? We can accomplish the goal of employing people, building 6, 7, 8, 9-figure businesses, making changes in our community. We can still accomplish those goals 10,000 at a time. 25,000 at a time, 100,000 at a time. And so as long as you're still focused there, that micro purchase, simplified acquisition area, you're still really in a good place, regardless of really what they do with the affirmative action plans and whatever. So I just wanted to mention that because someone actually brought that to me and asked if that would be something that would impact us. Okay. Certification changes. So for those of you who work at companies or work with companies that have specific certifications, 8A being one of them, right? The 8A program, that business development program that allows you to win quite a bit of contracts if you know how to leverage that certification well. And as a matter of fact, let me just, so that I know within the room, who here is an 8A company? You would have to unmute yourself because I can't see you. Anybody?
Connie,
Connie, what year are you in?
5,
You're in year 5. How many 8A contracts have you won?
3
5
only.
or they're 5-year contracts?
Yeah, 2 of them. Well, one of them is 5, one of them is 3, and the other one was a year and a half.
Okay. And you're in year 5.
I'm at year 5 on my 8A. I'm at year 3 on the 5-year contract, year 1 on a 3-year contract, and the other one I just got a bridge on. And I'm hoping that they're gonna come back and give it to me for 5 years. But due to the fact that COVID-19 happened and it's a National Guard, they operate totally different.
Got it. Are they with the same agency?
Department of Defense Army out in BAMC, Fort Sam Houston, the Center for the Intrepid. I have the Wounded Warriors contract to supply medical staffing for prosthetics. We make the arm and the legs for the Wounded Warriors, and that's on two on. I got 2 contracts in the same building, 5-year and a 3-year, and the other one in Rhode Island is for medical staffing. Medical techs is like when you go to the doctor and turn in your paperwork, doing the admin support,
Okay.
clerk work, record keeping.
Okay. Connie, girl, we got to get you some more contracts,
I,
man.
I know. I'm gonna talk to you. I'm back at you. I got you.
5 years, 3 contracts. We can't do that now.
Well, 2 of those years now. 2 of those years, I've had some medical challenges. I've had 2 spinal surgeries, and in 2017, I had 11 deaths. One was my mom, so I lost 2 years just really off of my 8A, just not even being in the game mentally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Understood. All
Mhm.
right. So for the anyone else, I'm sorry, anyone else working with a company that is 8A certified, does everybody understand the 8A program? Is there anyone that does not understand the 8A program?
Me, I don't understand.
Kyra. Okay. So in short, what I would tell you to do is all the certification programs are through the SBA, right? So SBA.gov is where you're going to go, Kyra. And on there, you'll see certifications, and it has a list of all the different certifications. It's Service Disabled Veteran Owned Small Business. There's Hub Zone. There's 8A. There's Women Owned. All of them are listed there. The 8A program is one of the best. I'm going to say it because I've been 8A certified, but it's one that expires. So unlike being minority or women owned, the 8A program, you can only be in that program for 9 years. But it does qualify you for true sole source set aside contracts. And my recommendation is that any business, after you've done your work on the commercial side, that you then decide, make that transition into the 8A program. I won't get into it too much right now, but there's a lot of opportunity within that program because it is the only certification that is basically a business development program, meaning it is the government's job or the SBA's job, typically to help you get contracts. And so it is to develop your business. That's what that certification is all about. And so we're gonna make sure Miss Connie get in front of a whole lot more. We got two more weeks, Miss Connie. Let's see, we're gonna do something now.
I have a question.
Huh?
I have a question. So aside from 8A, do you recommend that companies be some type of certification?
Yeah, absolutely. Because the more when we look at the breakdown of the money of the budget, there's 39% of like $500 billion that's set aside for small business, right? Just small business. But that 39% is further broken down by those certifications. So 3% here, 5% here, 3% here. And so it just further qualifies you for different for different contracting opportunities. So some of them are self-certifying. So a minority and a woman, you can look at me, I'm a minority, I'm a woman. That's pretty cool, right? There's going to be a lot of competition there. Once you get into service disabled veteran owned, you're lessening your competition when they're set aside for service disabled veteran owned. When you're 8A, you've drastically lessened your competition because there's not as many 8As. And then there's Hub Zone, which that's one I'm going to mention today. Hub Zone is based on geographic location. Hub Zone stands for historically underutilized business zone. You don't have to remember this stuff. All of these certifications are on SBA.gov, right? But Hub Zone is based on the map where you're actually located, and then you have to have a certain amount of your employees um, in that location. The great thing about the certification programs is, and especially right now, which is why I have it under COVID-19 updates, the economy needs to be um, re-energized based on all of this time off, all of these businesses closing, 300 stores, 300 malls closing. Like there's ridiculous amounts of like yeah, businesses shutting their doors, right? With with some of these certifications, and I'll give you Hub Zone for example. Right now, because of what's going on, right? They have a program. Hub Zone just announced this. I was on a 2-hour call with SBA for the Hub Zone program, for example. A governor now can declare a hub zone based on unemployment rates and population. So before it was just based on the map. You got to click on the map. The address has to qualify as a hub zone area. And every 2 years, it's reevaluated. You got to redo it, recertify, all of this stuff. Now, because of what's happened in the economy, in order to boost the economy some more, local agencies are given are able now to utilize these certification programs like Hub Zone and say, you know what, 50,000 people live in this small area. The unemployment rate is like 127%. I want to declare this a hub zone. What that means is, okay, now businesses in that area can certify as hub zone companies, as hub zone businesses. Those same hub zone businesses now qualify for set aside contracts similar to 8A with the federal government. And so the federal government can start issuing contracts to these local businesses. And not only that, the local businesses often employ local citizens. So they're using certification programs to revitalize local economies. That's a big deal. Did I lose anybody? Do y'all see what I'm saying? So
Yes.
that becomes a really big deal. And so yes, if you're working with a company who has no certifications, they at least woman owned, minority owned.
Serena, I have a quick question. This is Rita.
Yeah.
My office is located in a hub zone. I'm an actual hub zone, but only one of my 9 employees live in the hub zone.
Okay.
How do I get around that?
Hire somebody virtually that lives in a hub zone, because they don't have to live in the same hub zone that you. So,
And they don't have to work full time.
and no.
Oh,
So
okay.
is 27%.
Oh, that's it? Oh, thank you.
27% of your employees.
Okay. How
So-
long does it take to get that certification also?
Well, right now they're expediting a lot of the certifications, and not only are they expediting, but they're freezing the maps, which means you'll qualify longer.
Okay, thank you.
The other thing, which has made it very attractive to me, because I'm relocating, y'all. My new office is actually in a hub zone too. The other thing is, you can now, if you sign a 10-year lease, and I'm doing this because I'm actually in a position to, like, yeah. So, but if you can sign a 10-year lease at a hub zone, you qualify for hub zone status for 10 years instead of having to recertify every 2 years.
Wow, that's great.
Awesome.
And they're freezing the maps 5 years at a time. What does freezing the maps mean? That means even though we've been underutilized areas have been going through what the gentrification, right? Everybody is changing and switching it up, and now what used to be the ghetto is becoming the place you want to be, and so that changes the hub zone. Like it used to be reevaluated every 2 years to see, okay, are they still underutilized? But now what they're saying is the maps are being frozen 2021, and it is what it is. Whatever happens in that 5 years, you don't have to come back and make a case. It is you good to go. So there are a lot of new benefits to Hub Zone. And again, your employees, whoever they are, don't have to be located in the same Hub Zone as your office.
Right.
And so for me, I have employees that work in different states. We got California, we have Minnesota, we have a lot of different places. And so that's an option.
Serena, this is Stephanie. You said the governors are going to be changing they can allocate a hub zone based on criteria. Where is that information going to be provided somewhere? Or is that something that you have to search for are you going to explain that later?
Yeah, no problem. So it should be on sba.gov by now. And what you can do if you want to, you can probably Google Hub Zone at Hub Zone Governor Program or something like that.
Okay.
The SBA told us on the call was that they're working with local governors. And again, they qualify by population. I think their populations are under 50,000 and maybe under 75,000, and their unemployment rate at 127%, 100 and something percent. Like it's not 127, 37%, something like that. You'll see it. It's on SBA.gov. I'm almost positive.
Okay.
Those stats are on there. But whatever that unemployment rate and that population rate, the governor can say we're
Right.
declaring hub zone. Now, what's great for somebody like myself who enjoys training small businesses is those businesses, once they get certified, still need to know how to do business with the federal government. And I think that's the part they keep leaving out. You know what I mean? Like you can open up the program, but if nobody knows how to use it, we're still not getting it anywhere. But those are the kinds of things I want you to be up on. SBA.gov is going to be a great place for those updates. And any of there are websites and podcasts, GovCon stuff. I'm pretty passionate about this stuff. But what's going to make you a super dope support person is that you're knowledgeable of the industry and you have at least a good handle on how the certifications work and what things are allowable according to the FAR and how your business can be impacted in a great way or not so good way. Knowing those things just makes you invaluable to the company that you support. You see where I'm going with that? I already talked about Hub Zone and Service Disabled Veteran Owned. I'm not going to get into GSA. That's totally different. And again, that information is all on SBA.gov. Okay. Okay, good. We're doing good on time. Any questions about that stuff? Any questions about that?
Yes, Serena. I have a question about the certifications. I heard that it was going to change how they view the applications next month. Apparently, is that true? And also, do you have somebody that you can refer us maybe that does certifications? Because I think I might need help with getting certified.
Yeah, Bert. So which certifications?
All of them woman owned, but not all of them, but woman owned, minority owned, just the simples. Yeah.
Yeah, so the women-owned certification is changing. So they're no longer, and that's changing as of July.
Yeah.
And again, like another a place to join, like I'm on the women's, what is it, the Women's Chamber of Commerce. And they, you know, they give you information like that. Your local women's business development centers, those are places that you know, you'll find out more about those certifications. So the change to the women-owned one is basically the federal government is not going to any longer recognize just self-certifying women-owned small business, WOSB, if you don't already have it. And what'll happen is one of the third-party certifications is what you will need. So WeBEC, like the Women's Business, is the Enterprise Center? They're funded by SBA. The Women's Business Centers, they used to be Women's Business Development Centers, but the Women's Business Centers, Philly, New Jersey, I work with one of them is a client of mine in North Carolina. But those centers, they do what's called the WeBank certification, WBENC. It's a certification, and it's a private certification, but it certifies you as a woman-owned business. It does more for you on the commercial side, but the designation works for you on the federal side, and it costs money. So it's like $300, maybe $300 a year, or something like that. So they're now requiring, instead of it being free for you to just self-certify and just say it, they're going to be now recognizing the one that you got to pay for after, I think, July something. And so but being connected at those areas, the women's business centers is one. MSDC, which is another one, Minority Supplier Development Council. That one is great on the commercial side of things. And for real, honestly, for those that are looking to really grow and enhance your business, that Minority Supplier Development Council certification, coupled with your contracting knowledge, can really put you in a dangerous position, in a good way though, a good dangerous. And here's how, and here's why. Now this is game, y'all. This is game. Take it. So the Minority Supplier Development Council certification, right? That MSDC, there's a national office, and then there's going to be like your local regional office, right? It is a certification. It does cost, and it costs according to employees and I believe revenue. Having that certification puts you in front of Fortune 500 companies. Let's do this, because you know I'm about showing, and let's just pick it up. Y'all know about the MSDC? Yes.
I have it, Serena.
Okay.
I have that one in WeBank.
Are you leveraging this, what I'm telling you right now?
No, I just got back in November, and I haven't.
Okay. So this is gonna be good for you.
Okay.
So this is the National Minority Supplier Development Council, right? So you can find your local office or whatever. It's whatever. You can just go, and you can go through the membership stuff. What is so awesome is this, and here's the affiliate list. So you can go on here and you'll find your list. But what's great is that you get to be connected on the commercial side with some of the larger companies. Their directory is huge. There's pretty much, most companies are affiliated in some way with the National Minority Supplier Development Council, right? So that'll be like your Coca-Colas, that'll be your Johnson and Johnsons, that'll be your furniture companies, your medical supply company, all of those companies, right? That makes sense on the commercial side. But the way to leverage those relationships is you basically have access through your certification and through your membership to a pool of potential suppliers.
I never looked at it like that. Thank you.
Those relationships to supply to the federal government. So you basically have the best of both worlds at your fingertips. And this is what I mean by leveraging, you know what I mean? Leveraging those relationships. Because most people, and nobody teaches this, right? Most people are thinking, okay, boom, I use my minority supplier development certificate for commercial work, and I use my government stuff for my government, but they work together. And so I'm all about, a strategy. And if that means that with your Minority Supplier Development Council certificate, you get some targets in mind and you start seeing what government agencies buy their stuff, and you position yourself as the small business distributor, supplier, reseller, whoever, this opens up a new, totally new lane of opportunity for you and for your company. Did I lose anybody? Y'all see how that works? So it's a game of leverage. So when we start having those conversations about, okay, how do I become a supplier? Well, who are my suppliers? Who are my suppliers? This is a good place. This is a good place. I had the CEO of the Minority Supplier Development Council here is actually a good friend of mine, and she's the CEO now. She wasn't always, but this is why relationships are important, y'all. When I met her, she was a diversity officer at a construction company, and actually gave me one of my first opportunities to supply labor on a construction site. But she's now the CEO of the Supplier Development Council or whatever. And they just had an event called Pivot. I don't know if any of you went. I was a keynote speaker. I was the closing keynote speaker for that. It was a virtual event called Pivot. And when I tell you, every major company was represented, like major companies were represented. Also, I'm gonna say this too. There's a new sensitivity to the plight of Black people. How long it's gonna last, we do not know. We've seen this before. What I will say is capitalize and strike while the fire is hot. Just do it. Go walk through the doors and just be Black and in need. And no offense, and I'm just saying, y'all know. And Stephanie is a sister, by the way, so we in good company. Stephanie with me. Stephanie ride with us. So you understand what I'm saying? Y'all know what I mean. Right now is the time. If you're going to leverage or whatever, it's called leverage.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's sensitive. Now, we've been going through this for more than 400 years. But every once in a while, there is a new, I need to help the Black community. And yeah, I need you to. Do you understand what I'm saying? I am 2 seconds from calling Starbucks and having a franchise. And Starbucks don't even do franchises.
And Serena, just as a side point, there's so much money out there right now. I received like a $10,000 grant, a $5,000 grant. So if you have a business, everybody take advantage of it right now, because we're the flavor of the month.
We are the flavor of the month. And so these conversations look different, because normally I would tell you, that your certification, your minority status, your minority woman-owned status or whatever is a add-on. You present yourself qualified, and oh, by the way, I'm minority and I'm woman-owned, and so you help them reach their minority woman-owned goals, right? Today, though, you are a Black business in and you are looking to grow your business in your community and make a difference. You heard me?
We heard.
Serena, we're gonna have to talk after the panel.
Okay. Do you see what I'm saying? Gotta do it. You gotta do it. So let me stop sharing. Let me get back to my, and what else did I have on there? Okay. The relationships, the forecast, all of this stuff. Okay, let's get to your boards. We're coming on our second hour. So I want to spend this whole 11 to 12 on the boards, on the opportunities, on on that kind of thing. So any questions, comments, concerns, or helpful anything that you have based on what we just talked about for this first hour? I think this is good stuff. You
Yeah,
guys,
I'm glad that you mentioned that. It's not that I never thought about it. I think I lost my morale in 2017 when I had the 11 death because I was out there hitting it. I was hitting it. I went to the We Bank conferences and NSMDC conferences in Baltimore, and but I totally forgot about it. I'm being truthful. I totally forgot about it. But you are so right. Now that you're telling us about the micro purchases, and especially now that COVID-19 is so prevalent, and we need to be selling supplies, commodities of some sort, it makes sense for me to go back and make those connections with the corporations that are members of NSMDC.
yeah,
So that's a good strategy.
that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. And then we're going to see how, as you're making progress in one area, you're going to be able to leverage those relationships over here in the federal, in the commercial space. So, for example, if you're successful at, let's say, winning the Kimberly Clark face mask opportunity that's on Unison, right? If you're winning that on Unison for the whatever material, the material command center, right? But at the same time, if you have those relationships with the Minority Supplier Development Council, those corporate relationships, that same supplier, that same thing you supply to the federal government, you can be supplying to numerous companies on the commercial side. So it all works together. Come on, Romans 8:28, it all works together for our good, all of it. And so I want you looking at it from that perspective. This is like similar to what I had, those of you that were in the first class, in the 6-week class, when I had you looking at that picture of them cones. I need you looking underneath the tent, behind the tree, up in the sky. There's it's everywhere. So we just got to train ourselves to see what we don't see. Okay, and create opportunities in most cases for ourselves.
Yeah, when I first got started with my 8A, Serena, I jumped out as a commodity, trying to sell products. And one contracting officer told me, "No, you don't want to do that because you have to have money." And I changed over to services. But I knew right away, getting my 8A, that I should have been doing supplies because I was prior to getting 8A, I already had my GDOT certification, and I had been attending those trainings. And see, a lot of people just go through a construction site and you just going through. I see all that money. I see those cones. I see that sign, that pole they holding saying stop, slow. All of that is money. I see those jackets that they're wearing. That's money.
Right.
I am even a certified flagger. I mean, I've done all of that. I
Oh,
went, yeah, I went through all of that stuff. At
we
one time, I would just, huh?
we can all work a part of your business. You need to just give out parts. we just
I just need right now, Serena, where I am. I'm just really being honest. I just got to get my team going because I have so much in me, but I need the other components, which are people, to be, to bring it together now.
you're in the right place. So if the question was, if you are SBA self-certified, do you have to recertify with one of the national recognized certifications? So no, because they're two different things. So the SBA self-certified is just going to always be. You're if it's checked off on your SAM registration, it kind of is what it is, right? The nationally recognized certifications help you more commercially, and it helps you on the commercial side primarily. But we, because of what we know, utilize that certification to leverage it on the federal side, if that makes sense. So your national WeBank and MSDC, that's going to be totally separate, and you have to recertify according to whatever their rules are. Your self-certified, it is what it is always in SBA in your SAM profile for the federal government. And WeBank is a national recognized, yes, as of July 1st, right? So here's something else. I actually meant to show this to you. Now I showed this to my other class. Have you guys read this article? You've seen this?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Connecticut. Woo-hoo.
Did anyone not see this? Okay. So everybody saw it.
Yes.
I didn't see it.
Okay, you didn't. Okay, real quick, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but this is so key. And I need y'all to look at this lion right here from his mom's house in Woodbury.
Connecticut.
What'd you say?
In Connecticut.
On Connecticut. Y'all see y'all? I see you. So he's securing government contracts, right? And yes, he does have an international coronavirus PPE deal, which is not federal, and that's so awesome. So he started this company. The name of his business is North Star Dynamics. He decided after watching the movie, and I mentioned this movie in my first class before, the movie War Dogs. Have you guys seen War Dogs?
Yes.
Yeah. Crazy.
Folks, it's now I'm gonna tell you now, because I'm saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost. This is not a movie I would recognize. I would normally recommend, because they just curse so much. God, lead it much in that movie, but it is a true depiction of government contracting and what it was. Now a lot has changed since then, but the concept is the exact same, and it's a true story. It's a fictional story based on true events. There are these two guys who decide they're gonna do business with the federal government, right? Actually, it's one, and he's just so crazy. And he decides he's going to do business with the federal government, and he becomes an arms dealer. He has a bunch of people that supply guns to him, and he supplies guns to the military, like active in the field type stuff. And he uses what used to be, so Beta Sam, it used to be fbo.gov. He's actually, they even show screenshots, like he's on there looking for opportunities to supply. So he just a supplier to the government. So this young man, after he saw the movie, was fascinated and decided he was going to do something. And so I love what he says. And there's a couple things that he says here. I am persistent. He says, last July, with no startup capital or experience, but plenty of self-confidence, Wesley started North Star Dynamics and got certified as a small and minority-owned business. Just as in the movie, he looked over government requests for supplies and began bidding. He says this, where is it? Oh, it's actually on his website. But his largest contract was for $115,000. He delivered gravel to a military base and had an $11,000 profit. Now, with about $3,500 a month in profit, he can afford to hire 2 other high school students. Wait till you see their little company. I'm just like, come on, I'm learning. Come on, teach me, Mr. Wesley. Look at his company website. North Star Dynamics. And this is nothing more than, a GoDaddy Wix site with some free clip art. But it's not that he's not the real deal. He's the real deal. He decided on what he was going to do, and he is doing. The fact that he has an NSN online store, which is a national stock number. So NSN, it's an 11-digit number. The fact that he even knows what NSNs are, to me, is just fascinating. I'm fascinated by the boy. But this is his site, North Star Dynamics. And now the one thing I would coach him about, I probably wouldn't put myself on this site. But look at his little crew. A whole bunch of high schoolers are running this company.
Serena.
Yes.
What is the NSN number?
Oh, so an NSN number, it's a national stock number. And so when you go into, let me show you. When you go, and this is more important in dibs to me than any other place, but it does matter when you're supplying product, right? So if I put in, let me just put in a cage 301. I'll show you the breakdown of it. So the government, the same way a cage code is used to identify your company, right? Your NSN number is made up of characters that identify basically the part and the type of part it is. So see this number here, this NSN, it's different from the part number because the part number is specific to the company, right? So
How
the
do, how do you get it though, the NSN number?
well, NSN number, the NSN numbers are assigned to the product.
To the product, okay, the NSN number is like if I'm selling this water bottle, there is an NSN number for this water bottle. So what the NSN number is on his site is to tell a buyer that he has that product. He can get that product.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay, got it.
And the way that it's composed, which is pretty cool, these first four numbers right here are the FSC numbers. Do you remember the FSC codes?
Yeah, and the PSCs and things like that.
So FSC is the federal stock codes. And
Yep.
I will, Steph, could you help me out on this one, because I think Lee had to step out. I will put the FSC cheat sheet in this group so that you guys have that as well.
Thank you.
All right, got it.
Yeah, just remind me to do that. I'll show you with the FSC numbers. So see these numbers here? These 4-digit numbers, they stand for a category. These are the FSC numbers. So if my NSN starts with 7510, the government buyer knows from the door that that's an office supply product.
Okay. Similar to a PCS.
Huh?
Similar to the PCS codes.
Exactly.
Okay.
This is what the FSC code is. So the federal stock class. So if the NSN starts 7510, the buyer automatically knows, okay, that's going to be something that's office supplies. So let me go back to his site. Let's see what his online store is. Business office supplies. Look at him. I'm so proud of this young man. I love it. I'm gonna have to get him in one of my classes. We're gonna talk to him.
Yeah.
Okay, so he doesn't have that's pretty interesting. He does not have the NSN number here, but he knows enough to know that that's what your store should have if you're going to supply to the government. He doesn't have it listed out here, but this is good stuff. Yeah. One of the things he says here, and this is it, I'm gonna get off his website, but you can learn a lot from him. He says this, he says, to quote him exactly, we're given a long life to not hold back on our dreams and to try again and again until we get things right. Live your dreams and take risks. Never let waiting become a habit. Life is happening now. Teach, boy. Do you hear? I'm gonna read that one more time.
I get it.
Long life to not hold back on our dreams and to try again and again until we get things right. Live your dreams and take risks. Water walkers, never let waiting become a habit. Life is happening now. I love it. I love it. And so, boom, that's how we doing it. All right, so I want to see your opportunity portals. You guys should have been able to do the Asana thing. And boom, 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 boom. So let's start with Kyra. Hey, mama.
Hey.
Okay. Can we start with your board? You ready?
Let me see. Okay.
So I told you guys, everybody's, everyone's board may look different. You could have used the categories that I gave you, but certainly in working with your team and working with whoever in your company, you want to decide on the best way. Will
It
it
says I
allow?
can't screen share.
It won't.
No, it won't let me. It says host.
Oh, okay. Hold on. I'll give you the ability to share. And then tell me, any challenges you came across um, the with the board, how you found your opportunities. All right.
Can y'all see my screen?
It's about to start. It's just black right now, but it'll start.
Okay. So I didn't bid anything.
Okay.
I'm not confident for that yet. But I did find some opportunities that I would like to pursue.
For whatever, do you guys don't see your screen, right? Okay, can you stop share? And here's the other trick. If any of you have a lot of windows open, just close out your windows so I can see your board.
Okay.
But close out your other windows, and if you stop share real quick, and then go back in and share and click share desktop.
My thing is now frozen.
I won't let you.
Yeah, now I can't even get to the share button.
It's all good. I will stop your sharing. Oh yeah, I think I can stop it. Yeah, stop. Okay, so here's what. All right, you guys see my screen. I'm gonna stop sharing. All right, is there anyone else that's ready to share theirs? Let me see if I can do that. Yours seems to be stuck, Kyra. I don't know why. Who do we have? Not Connie. Connie number 2. I'm gonna have to call you Connie 2. Do you guys want to share?
I've pressed on share screen and it says host disabled participant screen share.
Okay, hers was frozen. It's okay. Who else has their board up and is ready to share?
I do.
Okay.
Sorry, I mute my phone.
No problem. All right, so you should be good to go. Is it letting you share? The tech won't let us be great today. Okay.
Look at my screen. Is that it? You see it? This?
Okay. Yes. Okay. Okay. So walk us through what you did here.
Well, with the egg, that's the one I messed up.
Okay.
That I had did. I put the wrong
$1 million for some eggs, guys. I
put the total price instead of the unit price. Hey, y'all, the first one I'm trying.
Be $25,000 per unit. She a mistake. It was okay, but her total bid came out to $6 million. So if you scared to put in a price, just know that it was $6 million. So clearly she was going to lose, but and thank God she lost. All right.
Oh boy. And here, ready to bid. Well, this one is in right now.
Okay.
Is over in 2 hours.
Okay.
And this one is due today with
Okay. So can you click on actually populate it?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. So you put the description as the description of what they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And you have the bid template there.
Mm-hmm.
So the only thing that I would suggest that you do is at the top of that description that you actually put the link to the opportunity, so you can go.
Oh, that's what I forgot to put. I have them. I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay.
I got them on all the rest. It's just forgot to put it on this one thing.
Oh, okay. That would be the only thing, so that you can go like right back. You know, you can go right back to it. For the one that you already did, no award. Go to that one. The eggs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you put the marketplace thing there. So here's the other thing that I would suggest. You identified a supplier because you were able to put pricing in.
Mm-hmm.
So your supplier information, I would put in here. And I would add it as, you could either add it as a subtask. So see where you have your subtask at?
Mm-hmm.
Now, type in there. You can type just whatever the name. Well, you don't have to give your supplier. Just put supplier. Right? Put supplier there. And then what I would do is go all the way over to the right where that arrow is.
Mm-hmm.
All the way. Nope.
Oh, I'm sorry. The right.
Next to that bubble. Yep.
Right.
Click, click it.
1 minute.
And then now here is where you can attach. You see the paper clip up top?
Mm-hmm.
You can attach your pricing. You can attach emails if that's what you had. You can attach, like if they actually sent you a formal quote, you attach their information here.
Mm-hmm.
If you wanted to add more about that supplier, like their name, phone number, contact information, all of that stuff, that's what you would use this whole area for.
Okay.
So that when another one comes up, you don't have to search your email.
Okay.
Other one comes up, all of the information is right here.
Oh.
Okay, so use these features to keep it all cohesive and together.
Okay, thank you.
Good job. You can stop sharing now.
Serena, I had a question.
Yeah.
Is there a place where you can put a list of all your suppliers in here so that, you know, you just have a drop down list of all suppliers?
Oh, that's nice.
I would say totally up to you. Remember, well, Zaretha, let me see yours. I'll show you what to do.
I don't want you guys to look at mine.
Why, girl? It's a safe place now. Come on.
Okay, I'm just playing. Because we didn't set it up all the way. Host disabled. So go ahead.
I'm going
to share my screen. It won't let me share my screen.
Okay, it should now. I just made you co-host.
Okay, so I think my partner Sheila set this up.
No problem.
How do I get to how hers looked?
Keyboard. Just click the red. There you go. Got it. Okay.
Oh, okay, hers was.
You
how,
click. Okay.
I'm trying to get rid of this.
Click. Got it.
Okay.
All right. So you see how you have your headings, right? You got current opportunities, forecast. You have assignment, pricing needed. Keep going over. What else do you have over there? Ready. Oh, that's a ready to bid, but I think you mean bid. It's okay.
Okay. Oh, I'll have a chance. We'll change that. No.
No bid, awarded, not awarded. So you could do a couple things. And I did suggest this to you guys, and this is totally up to you, but go all the way to your end, all the way to the end where you were. And where it says add column, you can either decide to add a column there that is a list of your suppliers. So each one of your suppliers gets a card. And so you have a list of suppliers, right? That's it's one thing you can do.
I'll just add that now because we could always take it off.
Yeah, and then every time you press the plus, each supplier gets a card. And so click the plus, the add, and just put XYZ supplier for now. Enter, and then click on it. Click on that card. Now, when you come in here, your description be your put contact name.
I'm just gonna write that down so we know where to put it.
That's what I'm saying. Contact name, and put a colon, and then you can put, you know, contact number or whatever, and then your team knows this is where contact information is going to go for whoever the supplier is.
Okay.
There's an agreement. If there are terms, if there's something that you have with them, you use that paper clip. You can attach it there.
Okay.
See what I mean?
Yep. Got it.
You have specific members of your team. If they are assigned to a certain supplier, then you get to assign them right where it says assignee.
Okay, now how do I, because I'm pushing enter and it's not putting it down. Do I push mark complete after this, or?
Because that's just going, so it won't let you press return?
No, I put enter and it just keeps making another line.
Oh, yeah. So that's because it thinks you still want to type there. You click wherever you want to be. You can just click out.
Okay, got it.
You can click out or click X. No. Don't mark it complete.
Okay. Oh, because that's marking the task complete. Okay. Got it.
Task complete. You see that?
Yep.
So there you go. So click in one of your opportunities. Let me see.
Now it's funny because you know, my partner's really computer literate. So I started getting tasks and stuff in my email from these.
Mm-hmm. Got it. So the one thing that I would say to you, scroll down some. Scroll down. Okay, so she has all the primary point of contact, everything in there. How helpful is that to you to see it this way?
Very.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't looked at the whole thing like in detail, but there's a lot of detail here. I mean, there's a contact, the description, and then I guess this is the link. Oh.
So I think that looks like the attachments. That's probably the actual solicitation. The one thing that I would tell her, or I would add as a standard, is the same thing I said with Lisa. I would put the link to the opportunity at the top above classification.
Okay, right here.
See what I'm saying? Yeah.
So you would take the link that Zaretha just she just clicked on. You would take that actual link and you would put that up there.
No, because that's not a link she clicked on. She clicked on a file.
What link you're talking about?
To the actual opportunity, right?
The link where this actual opportunity is located online. So to Beta Sam.
USDA link, because it's a USDA.
Yeah, and it looks like that, but based on what I'm seeing from the format, it came right off of Beta Sam. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So if you scroll down, because if you scroll down, while all of the information is here, there's a Beta Sam link, but it's just to betasam.gov. It's not directly to this right here.
Got it.
And this zip file, that's just got a bunch of attachments in it. So if you wanted to see this online right now, or mark yourself as an interested bidder or anything like that, you wouldn't know where to go. You would have to look this up by the buy code at the top. You see what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I got a question for you, Serena. So this is a regular like solicitation, and then we have our you know, the ones that we're doing with you, our buys. Yeah. How do you separate the opportunities in here between the two? So she just has current opportunity. I want to have can you make another board, or is it just one board?
For what?
So for instance, this is like a regular, you know, a regular opportunity, but if we wanted to do purchase orders, do we have a separate board, a purchase order board?
Totally up to you. Because boards. You can have one board that's commercial opportunities, one board federal opportunities. You can have one board product, one board service. It totally up to you.
Okay, so would the different boards be up here? So we would make like, a regular board and then a purchase board?
Yeah, so we're all the way to the all the way to the left, like all the way over here. Yep. So where you go to home, new project, that's where you would create your new board.
Okay, so would it be right here?
You start with a blank project.
I see blank project.
That's it. Click.
Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna name this purchase orders.
Right. And you can name it purchase order, and then you select board from the bottom. I mean, from the, yeah.
Right here?
Yep.
You know what? I'm sorry, you guys, because I live in the country, so it keeps going out like every 3 words. I didn't hear you.
Oh yeah, you click board right under list
Okay.
and create board. And then
we go down. Oh.
Yep, you name it the way you want to, and you set it up same way.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna have you stop sharing.
Okay. Thank you. That was helpful.
No problem. That's why we're here. That's how we're gonna do this. Connie, your team.
Dakima.
Yeah.
I haven't done anything with them no more than the actual thing. Dakima working on that.
Okay, Dakima, let me make you co-host.
Okay.
Hopefully this is helpful for everybody.
It is. I can tell you that just getting things set up. We're going very fresh. So I'm just gonna.
Okay, it's all good.
I have started. And I just made a big mistake when I was going through that I'm trying to correct. Okay, let me see if I can share my screen.
It's all right. All right. Now y'all already know. Now, if you don't know, now you know. Serena will call you. I want to see it. That's the only way it's gonna happen.
All right. So I started the opportunity boards. I have several more to add on here that I've been searching. So one of them that I started was the janitorial needs bid. And I still have to add the task in here, but what I noticed is I need to figure out a way, but let me go to the other one. Okay, the gas mask bid.
Okay.
All right. So I have the link to the actual
opportunity.
I did copy and paste everything in here like it's supposed to be. Right now, what I was attempting to do.
So wait, let me stop you real quick.
Okay.
So one of the things, so that you don't have to have all of this copy and paste it, because you don't have to copy and paste it all, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
You could put just the description link and the description of the buy, which you already have. We know it's gas mask.
Right.
You can, we know based on that number that it came from Unison.
Okay.
Have the link that makes it easy to go back to.
Okay.
You can do that. Or the link that makes it easy to go back to the actual buy description. Go scroll up a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, wait, couple things I see. Okay, wait, go scroll up.
Okay.
All right. I want to see something. Gas, small business. Okay. Miscellaneous. All right, scroll, go down. See the rest of it. Buyer, line item, delivery. Okay. Delivery in 240 days. That indicates quite a bit. Okay, scroll up. I'm sorry, the other way. To see
Oh, okay, down. Sorry.
down, I meant. All right, so wait. So you see the description here?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. So you guys don't have a GSA schedule, right?
Mm-mm.
So you're not going to be able to go after this one, but
Okay. And again, that's the part that I'm learning. So
no.
I'm
Okay.
learning the process of how to put them in, and then definitely going to get with Connie to figure out what we can actually put in here.
Okay.
And to
Yeah.
bid
So,
on. Mm-hmm.
so I think and you guys will work it out, right? According
Mm-hmm.
to what works best for whoever is actually putting the pricing in.
Right.
For example, this GSA schedule bids only.
Mm-hmm.
GSA schedule is just like one of the other set asides, like a service disabled veteran owned hubs.
Okay.
And so if you don't have a GSA schedule, you're not going to be able to bid on it.
Okay, got you.
What they're telling you here. And so that's going to be important for everybody. Typically, go all the way back up to the top.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, it'll say it. Nope, go down a little bit. I'm touching my computer like I'm controlling it.
Is it this right here?
No, that's not it.
Set aside requirement, and it says small business.
Yeah, it's just a small business there.
Say GSA there.
Right.
That's where it would normally say it, so you would know off the bat that that's not one I can do.
Okay, because I know when I was looking through, when I was setting up the filters in the marketplace, that small business is one thing I would put in there, so I would prevent myself from looking at ones that needed, those specific qualifications that.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I definitely don't want you to pigeonhole yourself to small business ones.
Right.
So you do want to look at them all.
Okay.
The ones that are GSA, they're not really, it's not really a lot when you look at what's in there. 300 and some opportunities, maybe 40 of them are GSA. So as long as you know what the set aside requirement is and you don't qualify, I say look at all the opportunities.
Okay.
Look at them all. But this is a good example because it doesn't say GSA at the set aside requirement, but as you look further into the opportunity, it does say it. So you guys would need to be able to make that distinction. One of the things I'm really, really big on is making sure that whoever you are supporting, you are providing accurate information. And this is not against you. I'm just saying this in general. Okay. I want to make sure that you're providing accurate information throughout these 4 weeks and that you can see it, find it, understand it, and know how to respond to it. So all of those things are going to be really important. And I'm glad you brought this one up because this is a good example of, you got to really, really be looking at the details.
Right.
So you don't waste.
So what I did was I went ahead and downloaded the bid template.
Okay.
And I actually researched the price of the items and where they were available. And I have a quote that is, that if we could have bid it for this would have been, the link would have been placed right into here. And I would have put this whole link actually in the task, as a task in Asana on the board, to be done. So that's kind of where I am. Yeah,
no, this is good. This is really good. And so here, I'll give you something extra. So wait, click out of that. Let me just see your columns.
Okay.
And you guys are going to work through this. So definitely by next week, try to have your columns in a way that works for your company. So it may change now because now you have the basic structure. It needs to work how you guys work, right?
Right.
And if that means that you have a board for service, a board for product, a board for commercial, a board for federal, that's going to be up to you guys. So let me see what else you have. Scroll over. Ready to bid, bids not awarded, bid awarded. Those are the 4?
Those
Okay.
are the four right now. But
Okay.
I do see the opportunity to definitely break it down, especially based off of what was seen in the marketplace. It seemed like it would be a better way to organize it.
Yep. Yep. Good stuff. Good stuff. And one of the things in terms of resources, and you can stop share.
Okay.
So one of the things in terms of resources for those of that are looking up the products or whatever, GSA Advantage, and this is one of the sites. I'm not sharing. Hold on. Another good place when you're, and this is not for you to GSA Advantage. GSA Advantage is that GSA schedule is a government, it's basically a blanket contract that lets the government buy from you without making a solicitation, without doing any of that stuff. They can literally just come to the catalog, find what they need, select you, and that's it. The GSA schedule, the easiest way for me to explain it is it puts your company in the federal government's catalog, which is this thing right here, right? And so if I'm looking for mass, the only companies that are going to show up in the masking tape, huh? No. Let's do just N95 mask, which you pretty much almost can't get right now. But so if I was looking for an N95 mask and I'm a government agent or whatever, right? I am going to come here and I'm going to look, and all of these options are going to come up. The companies, the sources, you see it says from 2 sources, from 8 sources, like that. Those sources are actual companies that have what's called a GSA schedule. GSA schedule is typically pretty expensive to get. $8,000, $5,000, $8,000. I know some people that'll do them. But it's almost like it's a legal binding contract type thing. So it's a big deal. And if you have product, then that's the way to go. I'm not even going to talk about it from a service side right now because it would take us somewhere else. But I want you to know about this because if you're looking at, let's say, price justification, like somebody gave you a price or you're not sure around, like, where should I quote it? I mean, I got this price, but what do they typically sell for? What do they typically buy it for? This is a good research tool because it tells you what they typically buy it for. So here's these 2-pack. This don't even sound right, but God bless them. Let's click on one of them. Let's do this one. This one right here. There are 29 sources that have this product. And more than likely, they all have it at different price, right? So below this are all the companies that have this product on their GSA schedule. And they're all at different prices, everywhere from $12.20 all the way up to who knows what, 20 something dollars. But they all claim to have this one product. Here are their delivery dates. They have minimum order quantities. You can tell it's a small business, it's a disadvantaged business, it's just a small business. Blue Bay got all of them. They just all of the certifications, right? So you can actually see pricing and use this as your justification. The reason why I'm telling you this is because if you get a price from somebody, and now would you go to Blue Bay and ask them for the price? Well, I mean, you kind of could, but the deal is they already supply to the government, so they're more than likely not going to give you pricing. But who knows? There's opportunities everywhere. Some of these people that have this GSA schedule, they barely win any awards. What time is it? We got time. I'm going to show you how we know this, right? So 2 things. For price justification, if I use something in here to determine where I'm quoting at, it would be a good idea in your Asana board, in the card that has the opportunity, if you used anything from here to justify your price, that you also copy this link as price justification. If it's ever asked of you, like, well, how did you come up with that price? Where did you get that from? You can at least have a place where you can reference. You guys get what I'm saying?
Serena, I have a question about now their certification is not going to help us at all. Basically, you're looking at their certification to see that like they're, 8A company or small business because they may be bidding on it also. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. This is basically for information purposes only.
Okay.
There's nothing on here that can necessarily help you. I'm not saying that this is where you get your suppliers from. I mean, again, they are more than likely, if there's an opportunity out, they are more than likely going for it. But again, there's always that little area where, let's say, this company right here, Exicor, we don't know if they're active. They could have a GSA schedule, and like many people in the government, have all the designations and be doing none of the business. And so here again, what would the opportunity be if that's the case, right? If this company has a GSA schedule, has designations, the Fed bid, you found an agency that's looking for what they have, they're not doing it, you could potentially be a supplier for them, or a person that they outsource their quoting to or their business development to. Like, you could help them get more business. There's a million ways that this thing could work. Did I lose you?
No,
What's
I
the name of the
muted myself. Thank you.
Okay. So here's what I want to show you real quick, because this will get us into where we'll go next week, because we're going to keep populating. So those of you that found your 3 opportunities and actually pursued them, kudos. That's what I'm talking about. 3 more you will find. I need every single person. Those that did not share their board this week will share their board next week. I want to see your board set up. I want to see, at this point, you should have 6 opportunities. So 3 from this previous week, 3 from this week, and I want you quoting. If you are scared, if you cannot get pricing, if you don't know what you're doing, if you find one that's simple enough and you quote $6 million on some eggs, you're not going to win it, but you will go through the steps. You will go through the screens. But this part right here is going to set us up for next week, because the other thing you want to know, and I need you to be very fluid in, is how all these systems work together for your good, right? So I want to know, we're in at GSA Advantage, right? GSA Advantage. I want to know if these companies here are actually winning anything. Like, are they doing substantial business? I'm not going to pick somebody from the top of the list. I'm going to pick somebody from the bottom of the list. They don't have a lot of designations. Acorn, DBA Shoplet. Let's just see. Let's see if they're doing substantial business. This is going to get into how we use these sites for, looking up our competition. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the name of this company. I was looking at something. Acorn Office Products, right? Let's see. Yeah, Acorn Office Products. They are located in an interesting part of New Jersey. And I'm going to copy that. Looks like their contract end date is 2023. Interesting, because your GSA contract does have an expiration, right? So they have to reapply and stuff. So the very first place I'm going to go when I want to know about a company is where? Somebody.
SAM.gov.
SAM.gov.
Wrong.
Right? So I'm going to go to SAM.gov. When I want to know their core data, although that kind of gave us most of the core data, right? Copy and paste. Remember, copy and paste is your best friend. Never have a space after any of your characters ever, because most of the government systems recognize that as a character. So never have a space, okay? Acorn Office Products, boom, there they are. I'm going to search. And exactly, they're here. I can view some more information about them. I can click on their core data. I can tell where they are. They started in 2005. They're in New Jersey. They're going to need to update their SAM soon. This is that Freedom of Information Act working in my favor here. They're a sole proprietor, okay? Not a big company. Deb cards, boom. So now I want to see what contracts they have. What system do I use now to find out what kind of contracts they have?
FPDS.
FP.
Grab their DUNS number.
Yep. So we can run, and right now I still have their I still have their company name in my copy. So I'm going to just see if I can drop that. Acorn Office Products. Oh, shucky ducky.
They getting down.
They getting busy.
Yeah.
They are getting busy.
Mm-hmm.
19 pages of stuff, if not more. So they are pretty active here, it appears. Y'all see, they're pretty active here. Now, again, everybody in GSA is not necessarily active, right? So some are struggling with how to get their stuff together. I'm going to just pick Shoplet.
Serena, I have a question here.
Yeah.
So now on this mass, they quoted 1707, and you see they have a lot of contracts, right? Could you use this information against them and bid lower on the same product on some of these to win it?
For sure.
But some of the other prices were $12, so they seem kind of high, and they're getting a lot of contracts.
Exactly. And they're doing a whole lot more than mass.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So yes, you're absolutely right. But this is how you utilize this data to your advantage. Because even if it was something that you really wanted to go after, and you had to say, okay, let me look up this company a little bit more. Let me look further. Where could I come in? That's how you use that data. So this particular company, you see what's happening here? I copy and paste it just as it is, but it's not registered like that in SAM. So what I would have to do is go back over to where I got their information from. And I'm sure they're probably doing a good amount. Their DBA is Shoplet. So I don't know if they may be registered as Ellison in SAM, or they can be registered as Shoplet. But I think you guys get the point. I didn't bring.
And you also use their DUNS number?
Yep. So I'm gonna copy their DUNS number. I'm gonna drop that in FPDS.
Wow. They getting down. Yep.
So again, we found two that are absolutely active.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing plenty. And so this is just SAM, FPDS, GSA Advantage, using the data to your advantage. That's all we just did. But again, with GSA, if you do find something there that you use pricing for, that you actually utilize a price, take that copy, take that link, and put it as a reference inside your Asana board, because it's an easy reference back to where pricing came from, or what was used in formulating your pricing. You got that? Any questions about any of that stuff?
How do you formulate pricing? How do you know what's the good price? How do you structure pricing?
So again, it's going to be a couple different ways. And Stephanie, remind me to put the, what is that thing called? It's a bid worksheet. It's a bid worksheet. Remind me to put that in the group. I will grab that. So I have an Excel spreadsheet. I have no problem sharing with you guys. And it helps you to determine like profit margin. So if you wanted to make 5%, if you wanted to make 3%, 10%, then you put the numbers in and it does the calculation for you. It's worth a class. I promise you. Okay.
Great.
All I need y'all to do is just say thank you. That's it.
Thank
See?
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're gonna get it to you. So you'll have that. But so for our company, when I have folks that are quoting, I don't want to make less than $500. That's off the bat. I know. Okay, it can't be less than 500 unless we are just trying to prove a point. If it's like $250, that's like lunch money. I don't know. That only pays for a subscription or something. So I set a bar at 500. Now your bar might be 1,000. So when I get my pricing, if I get something at $10 for easy numbers, I purchase it for $10. My mind, because I've been doing this so long, I'm automatically at 35.18. Like I'm starting at 35.18, right? And remember, we don't use round numbers because we've been crunching these numbers a long time. So it's never $35. It's never $35.50. It is 35.18. It is 32.11. It is 31.03. Okay, because that indicates that I've been crunching numbers. So that I'm immediately going to go there, right? But I'm going to work that number backwards to see what is my lowest. Like if I made $500, depending on what the quantity is, if I'm making only $500 profit, what's the lowest possible that I can go down to? And then I play within those numbers. And I use my resources like GSA Advantage, right? Or sometimes even I'll go to betasam.gov and pull award data and see, has the government bought these chairs before? And I'll just look for awards for that same product number or for that same service. I'll look for award data. So all those things kind of work together. Award data, GSA Advantage, the GSA calculator, and I kind of come up with a roundabout pricing place, keeping my profit number in mind, and that's what I do.
Is there a list of standards that the government has to have to award a bid? I mean, I know it is, but what is the part of it? Is it the relationship with the company? Is it, I mean, I know it has to do a lot with money, but what are some of those key components of from the other side?
Yeah,
I guess.
I got you. So government and standard sound like they should go together and they just don't. It is driven by so many different factors. So I say that there is no like typical. It's typical 3%, 5%, 7%. Now some would say, Serena, 5% is kind of typical. 7% is typical. Maybe not. Based on my experience, my personal experience, I've personally won at a 400% markup. Not because I was trying to price gouge, but because I'm using historical data and I'm seeing that they keep awarding it at this high number and I can get it really, really cheap. And what I'm not going to do is drive this price down, right? So I'm not going to get it at $5. They've been paying $105. I don't know why they're paying $105. I'm going to come down to maybe 97 to win it. Do you understand? I'm not going to come down to $10.50 because then I'm driving the price down. So a lot of the government awards are driven by historical pricing.
Okay.
right? So your first thing is to see historically where it's been. That's why I gave you those resources. That's one. In terms of now, when you get to, I've supplied something and now they want me to supply it again the next year, we're not going to go up 50%. They are expecting a 3 to 5% increase due to supply, due to whatever. You understand what I mean? But it's
Okay.
not that I can't tell you that there's a formula. You plug your number in and it spits out this number that's good for the government
Okay.
because of all of those other factors.
All right. Thank you.
There are some systems better than others. Dibs is one of them where they give you the history. So you pretty much just got to say, okay, this is what I got it for. Here's what they historically paid. And I got to come somewhere in the competitive zone. So, you know, Dibs stuff, they give you the pricing history. On some Unison stuff, you got to go find your pricing history.
Do they ever ask you where did you get your price from to explain your price?
Sometimes, yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Sometimes you are asked to justify your price. And here's the thing, lion, tiger, and bear. The truth of the matter is, you are the subject matter expert. They don't know what it costs for you to run your operation, for you to run your warehouse, for you to do your shipping, for you to do, you know, pay your employees, your overhead, your insurance, your payroll. Don't play. I will give you all of the stuff. We can always justify pricing. Always. Okay. So this was like intense working session today, y'all. Now, for the next 2 weeks, as you're building these boards, most of your time, I'm gonna tell you now, will be working in groups. We're gonna we'll break you down into groups, and you'll be working with a group on pulling opportunities into your board, understanding them, quoting them, that kind of thing. I didn't break you into groups. Now, one time a day, you could tell, makes the class seem a little longer when we don't do groups. But I think it was long enough for us to get all the information out. This prayerfully has been strategy, resource, understanding, and all of that. Any last questions, comments, or concerns?
Is there a way I can show you my board?
Yep.
All right.
And,
Public now.
And for those that did not make co-host, for those that did not show their board this week, next week you're up. You get a little extra time. 6 opportunities should be on there next week. Okay.
So I can see it.
Okay. Got it. So you got your forecast opportunities. So now forecast opportunities are opportunities that you pulled from the forecast. Did these come from the forecast?
No. Okay. I was a little confused about.
No problem. So opportunities we will work on next week. So you're going to be pulling those into the board. Don't worry about that. So these would be new opportunities at this point, or opportunities period. Yep. These are current. You can call them current, you can call them new, you could just call them opportunities. Opportunities are things that you're getting ahead of. Nothing is out yet. You're building relationships with forecast opportunities.
Okay.
In fact, without me. Okay. Click on the first one for me. You know what? And this just came to me in the essence of time, not today, but just the 4 weeks. I gave you guys already that bid cheat sheet, right? With all the links on it. No?
Yes.
Okay. Should be in oh, what happened?
Me. Do something extra.
Oh yeah, okay, there you go. So the bid boot camp links cheat sheet, or the boot camp links sheet, should be in Facebook already. If it is not, I think it is.
Yes, on Facebook.
It's on there. Boot camp links. So when this is what I want you to add. So your 3 new opportunities and 3 forecast opportunities. That's what I want. 3 new, 3 forecasts. In order to get to the forecast, it's the very first link. You can pick any agency. I don't care what agency. They just need to be opportunities for your type of company, be it janitorial, facilities, medical, training, whatever your company does. I want you to go to the forecast link and you're going to click on there. It's going to take you to a list of all the different agencies, and so now your opportunity portal should have 6 opportunities. Your forecast list should have at least 3 opportunities. Good there? And then that's what we'll pick up next week.
Serena, I just want to see if somebody can invite me to the Facebook group because I can't find it.
You're not in there?
I don't think so. I have the last week's one. I'm in the last week's one, but I can't find this one.
Okay. Steph, could you ask Lee to add Zaretha for me?
I have a question, Zaretha and
Yes.
Serena. So there are 2 Facebook groups that I should be in if I done both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I need to make sure we're in there.
Yeah. So there's
Okay.
the admin support Facebook group, and then there's our 6-week for those that are in the 6-week class.
Okay. I need
Okay.
to click on that too.
Okay.
I'll check that.
Okay. So that's what we're gonna do. The forecast, Kyra, don't go anywhere because I still want to see your board. The forecast, 3 opportunities. Your new opportunities, there should be 6. And be ready to show. Okay? Consider yourselves dismissed. Question. I'm going to work with Kyra for a second on her board. If you want to stay, you can stay. But if you need to go, that's it. You won't miss.
Serena, should I call you later or how we gonna connect?
Yes. Let me see. Send me your
My what?
number in the chat.
Okay.
All right, Kyra.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks. Awesome.
All right, Kyra, go back and let me see your board again.
Okay, I'm gonna go.
All right, Connie, I got it.
Okay. All right, I'm out.
In a minute. Okay. Doo-doo.